Good morning. I am Mrs. Menaka Kannan from Il Perseverance Secondary School. First of all, let me thank the Ministry of Education for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, MOE. Welcome you all to the English class today. Today, we are going to look at the letter of complaint, how to write a letter of complaint. Before we make a start, let us look at the objective of writing a letter of complaint. The objective of writing a letter of complaint is to get some action done. Okay? So, this topic is usually taught in S2 and S3 level. Before we make a start, let me ask you a question. So, can you tell me what are the various reasons that people make a complaint? Okay, let us look into the slide. So, why do people make a complaint? So, these are some of the reasons that people make a complaint, such as wrong goods received, poor service, unsatisfactory quality of goods, late delivery, non-delivery, damaged goods, prices not as agreed. So, these are some examples that you make a complaint. Now, let us see what are the different ways that you can make a complaint. So, there are three different ways that you can make a complaint. Firstly, you can go to the shop or the store. Secondly, by calling them, by telephoning. Thirdly, by writing a letter. Today's lesson is going to focus on how to write a letter of complaint. So, let us move into the topic. So, before you write the letter, I want to tell you some of the important things that you should remember while writing the letter of complaint. So, please have a look at the slide. Letter of complaint falls under formal letter. The letter is written to put forward a complaint about a service, something you bought, workmanship, public facilities, treatment you received from shop assistants or government officials or parking officers, and so on. So, writing this letter is for the purpose of letting off some steam, but most importantly, as I told you, to get some action done. Okay. Now, let us look into some of the tips that you should know before writing in the letter. So, you have to be clear and brief. You are not writing a story, so you have to be very clear and to the point. Say clearly what you are complaining about with a calm tone and in an orderly way. Do not use insults or swear words, no matter how much you are hurt. The language used is always formal. Follow the rules of grammar and punctuation. Use about 150 to 200 words. When you are signing off, this is what I want to tell you something later when we start with the format of the letter. Sign off formally, that is either you have to write yours faithfully or yours sincerely, and then after that you have to skip a line and put your signature, and after your signature comes your first name and your surname with the title. Okay, guys? So, now as I told you earlier, when you are signing off the letter, you have to make sure some of the things, like if you have addressed in the salutation as dear sir or madam, you make sure you always close your letter with yours faithfully. In case if you have addressed in the salutation the name of the person, you are supposed to close your letter with yours sincerely. Okay? And after sincerely or yours faithfully, you have to skip a line and then put your signature, and after your signature you skip a line and write your first name and your surname plus your title. Okay? Now children, let us move on to the format of the letter. So, here you go. When you write the letter, you start with the sender's address. Sender's address is nothing but your own address. Then after the sender's address comes, you have to skip a line. It is followed by the date. You are supposed to write the date like that. Date has to be written in full, which is date, month and year. You are not supposed to use any abbreviation such as TH, ST, ND or RD after the date. So, after the date, make sure you skip a line and go for the recipient's address. recipient's address or receiver's address. This is to whom you are writing the letter to. Okay. After the recipient's address, you have to skip a line and write the salutation. It is always better to write the salutation as dear sir or madam, since you may not know the name of the person. After the salutation, please skip a line and write the after the salutation, skip a line and write the subject. What is the matter that you are writing the letter? Okay. Then after the subject, you skip a line and then you write the body of the letter. So, body of the letter has 3 paragraphs. Paragraph 1, which is the introduction, you are supposed to state the reason that you are writing the letter, and you have to make sure you have to include when you are writing the letter, when you bought the item, where you bought the item and what item you bought. And then you skip a line and go for the second paragraph. This is where you write the problem. What are the problem that you have with the product or the service? So, you are supposed to use linking words and justifications. I have a separate slide for that, I will show you later on. Then after the second paragraph comes the third paragraph, which is the conclusion, whereby what is the action you want them to take. So, action required, either you give a you give a suggestion or ask for a refund or a replacement. Okay. So, now after the 3 paragraphs comes the ending, the closing sentence. As I told you earlier, since you have addressed the salutation as dear sir or madam, it is always better to close it with yours faithfully. After yours faithfully, you have to skip a line, put your signature, and then after the signature you again skip a line and then write your name, your full name, your first name and your surname with your title. Okay. So, now I will show you the exact sample of how to write the letter of complaint. So, before that, let us look into the body of the letter. So, the body of the letter has 3 paragraphs. So, now look at the first paragraph. The first paragraph is the purpose of the letter, that is to complain. So, here I have some examples along with a sample of the first paragraph how to write. I am writing with regards to a mobile phone I bought at your shop on Monday 25th January 2021 at 10 p.m. So, you are writing the purpose and then you have to be specific about the day, the time, the date and where you bought the product. And then I have another example. I am writing to complain about the poor service I got at your shop last Saturday. Okay. And then here are some of the beginning phrases that you could use while writing the first paragraph of your letter. So, I am writing to you in connection to a fridge I bought in your shop last week. I am writing with regards to purchased on. I am writing to complain about I bought on. I strongly feel that I must protest about the noise made by my neighbor. Okay. Now, let us move on to the second paragraph. Second paragraph, you have to state the details of the complaint, and while you are writing the second paragraph, you are supposed to write the problems with the justification and use linking words. Okay. So, now let us look at the second paragraph. It gives the details of the complaint and justifications. Learners can use linking words such as even though, although, despite of the fact that when giving justifications. Make sure you should be very polite, be polite, avoid using vulgar words no matter how angry you are. So, I have given you an example of how to write the second paragraph. So, here you go. I purchased a Samsung Edge mobile phone from your shop. Despite of the fact that I had used a mobile phone for only one day, I noticed that some applications were not responding to comments. As a result, my clients are frustrated as they are unable to get in touch with me. Okay. This is the second paragraph. This is how you should write the second paragraph. The next slide, I will show you some of the useful linking words with the justifications. So, some of the problems and some of the linking words and justification that you could use with your letter while you are writing the second paragraph. So, these are some of the examples like, my dress is ruined even though I washed it once. You keep sending me the same telephone bill despite the fact that I sent you a check 3 months ago. It broke it the first time I used it in spite of the fact that I followed the instructions carefully. You persist in doing so although I requested you not to leave the class. So, these are some of the problems, linking words and justification you could use for the second paragraph of your letter. So, now let us move on to the third paragraph, which is the conclusion, whereby you give a suggestion, ask for a refund or a replacement. So, I would read the example for the third paragraph. I would appreciate a replacement or refund, anticipating your favorable reply. Thank you in advance. Okay. So, these are the 3 paragraphs of the letter. The first one is the purpose of writing the letter. The second one you are supposed to state the problem. The third one is the conclusion, whereby you give a suggestion or ask for a refund. Now, let us move on to some of the useful phrases that you can use it while you are writing the third paragraph. So, here you go. So, I hope we can sort this out amicably. I hope this will not occur again. I will be grateful if you could send me a refund. I would appreciate a refund. I would appreciate a replacement. I would be very grateful if you could replace this phone with a new one of the same model. I would appreciate if you could educate your waiter, waitress about the etiquette and grooming. So, these are some of the phrases that you could use it in the third paragraph of your letter. Now, I will give you a sample, the whole sample of how to write the letter of complaint. Okay? Let us go into the slide. So, now sample. You start with your address, that is the sender's address, Ile Perseverance 1, Mahe, Seychelles. After your address, you skip a line and go for the date. As I told you earlier, make sure when you write the date, you do not put any TH, ND, RD, ST on top of the date. Like it has to be like this, 26 January 2021. After the date comes, you have to skip a line and comes the recipient's address. It is like you are writing to the person, like the manager of the shop. The manager, Active Electronics, Orion Mall, Victoria, Mahe. After the recipient's address, you skip a line and write the salutation. Since you have written to the manager, you may not know the name of the person. So, you address the salutation as dear sir or madam. And then after the salutation, you skip a line and write the subject regarding what is that you are writing for. So, it is a complaint about a faulty mobile phone. So, after this, it is followed the body of the letter. So, the body of the letter consists of 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph is whereby you write the purpose of the letter. So, I am writing with regards to a mobile phone I bought in your shop on Monday 25th January 2021. Then after the first paragraph comes the second paragraph, whereby you state the problem. What is the problem that you are having with the product? So, I purchased a Samsung Edge mobile phone from your shop. Although I had used the mobile phone for only one day, I noticed that some applications like the contacts, camera and messages were not responding to comments. Moreover, the phone switches off automatically. So, here you could see that I have highlighted the linking word although. So, you are supposed to write the problem with the linking word and give a justification as well. And after the second paragraph, you skip a line and go for the third paragraph, which is the conclusion. So, in the conclusion, you have to either ask for a replacement and refund. Okay? So, therefore, I would be very grateful if you could make a replacement or a refund. I am looking forward for a favorable reply. So, after the third paragraph, you skip a line and go for the closing tag, which is yours faithfully. Since you have written dear sir or madam in the salutation, so here you are closing the letter with yours faithfully. After yours faithfully, you skip a line and go for your signature. After your signature, skip a line and write your full name, your name and your surname with your title. Okay? Okay. So, now we have almost reached the end of today's lesson. Before I end the lesson, I would like to give a homework. So, can you please take your exercise book and copy the homework? So, this is your homework. You just bought a brand new laptop from the Mega Sound shop. When the sales assistant tested the laptop, it worked well. But when you brought it back home, you noticed that the laptop was not working properly. Write a letter to the manager to complain about the faulty laptop. Your letter should be between 100 to 150 words. So, in your letter, please include the following details such as details of the item bought, when you bought it, where and how much. In the second paragraph, write the problems and justification. Lastly, request for a refund or replacement. Children, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Bye for now. See you soon.